Now I know we see a ton of rumors regarding the Call of Duty series and people just trying to get their name out there, spread false information, and really overall just get attention. But is this Modern Warfare 4 rumor that was just dropped on Reddit a couple of days ago actually true? What's going on, guys? It is JSnake here, and today, guys, I'm bringing you another video. And in this video, guys, we're going to be talking about an actual Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4 possible leak that did drop on Reddit the other day. Now, guys, before we actually get into this video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with post notifications turned on so you can be notified every single time I do upload a new video. But with that being said, guys, let's get into this video. So I know there are tons and tons of rumors about video games, and especially Call of Duty in general, pointing towards the future, talking about future unreleased titles, and then a lot of the time it's just people trying to get attention. Now, obviously, there are rumors and leaks that do turn out to be true every once in a while, such as Matt Harris leaking the Specialists and kind of Overwatch style of Black Ops 4, or Kenobi leaking Infinite Warfare taking place in space. Now, whether those are just rumors that happen to be true or they were based off legitimate prior information that we did not receive and these people did, it still gives them some sort of credibility. And a lot of time we'll come across some rumors, some of them sounding crazy, some of them sounding legit, some of them obviously looking like they were written as a story just by some random person sitting behind their computer. But this specific rumor, this specific sort of leak, quote unquote, is something that I do want to point out. Now, a couple of days ago on the Call of Duty subreddit, there was a post made that talked about a possible Modern Warfare 4 information leak. Now, I'm going to read the post to you guys. I'll also show it up on screen here real quick, just so you guys can see it, because the post actually has since been deleted, which is why I do want to point this one out. Now, obviously, Activision could just be deleting false information. We know companies do that, but something about this got this piece of information on their radar. Something that is in here is something that they don't want to be spread around. Obviously, you know, it could be false. They just don't want false information being spreading around. But something in here just really caught their attention. Now, I'm not saying this whole thing is true, but obviously some of it could be true, some of it could be spot on. We don't actually know. But I'm going to actually read this to you for you guys. So the poster says, "I work as a test engineer at General Dynamics Land Systems. Earlier this summer, our PR department brought in a team of game developers to research the cutting-edge equipment we are currently developing. They were on site for about a month. At the conclusion of their stay, we were given a vague presentation on the game. They said that their research was going to be primarily utilized in the multiplayer parts of their game, as the single player was already deep into development. They talked a lot about game engines and software and stuff, and not the actual game. We didn't even know where they were from. We were able to see in-game renderings of some of the equipment they were researching, but nothing outside of that. They then showed us about 30 seconds of game footage, supposedly from the single player. The title card reads as follows: Land of the Pines, August 13th. The footage then showed a bunch of US/UN soldiers running through a mountainous wooded area while taking gunfire. They were screaming about how all defenses have fallen and they need to evac the UN VIPs to the Black Mountain facility. The developers then left and stated that their game would be available in 2019. It was only after I realized this was a Call of Duty game as the title card text looked very familiar to that of Modern Warfare 2. I haven't played Call of Duty in 5 years, but if another Modern Warfare is their next game, I will 100% be buying it." Now, holy cow, that is a ton of information, and I want to talk about a lot of it. So firstly, General Dynamics Land Systems is an American manufacturer of military vehicles such as tanks, APCs, LAVs, stuff like that. And it's not uncommon for game developers, especially Call of Duty and Infinity Ward, to actually go to these manufacturers, get the proper licensing they need to accurately represent the vehicles and the weapons and the pretty much everything to have, so they don't get some sort of copyright. They don't have to name it something that's not its actual name, and they're just all good there. This is not something uncommon, so this definitely has a bit of credibility. Seems a little odd that he'd bring it up in terms of, you know, not a lot of people actually would make a fake rumor based around this, but, you know, obviously you have to take everything with a grain of salt. He then goes on to say that the developers came in and they were just kind of saying that they were going to use the research for the multiplayer section of the game, as the single player was already deep into development. Now, here's what I'm confused about. I don't necessarily understand why they would use it for multiplayer parts of the game if the single player uses the same weapons and vehicles and pretty much everything that the multiplayer has. It's the same thing. So I don't get why they would need research for multiplayer when single player is essentially based off the exact same weaponry, the exact same vehicles. Obviously there could be stuff in the multiplayer that we don't see in the single player, something of that sort. I'm not too sure, maybe there's some spin-off mode, but quite frankly it just seems kind of weird to me. Then he says that they talked a lot about game engines and software and stuff and not the actual game, which is not necessarily a weird thing. That would kind of make sense considering a lot of Infinity Ward and Activision and really just Call of Duty developers and game developers in general are usually under NDAs and they don't necessarily talk much about the games. Obviously these are the higher ups, so they definitely had a little bit more leeway, which is why they did go on to show him in-game rendered footage, but still obviously it makes a bit sense why they would talk more about software, more about the actual back-end development side of things. Now we're starting to get into the interesting part. He then goes on to talk about the 30-second rendering that they showed from the single player. Now, you guys are confused about what he means by the title card, which is kind of the basis of all of this in the first place. I'm going to show a picture of one from Modern Warfare 2 right here. He's referring to it when you start up a mission and it has that text type across the screen, just giving a little bit of information. The mission name, day, who you're playing as, stuff like that. It's just a little cool thing that adds a little bit more immersion to the game, but that's what he is talking about. So he then goes on to say, obviously, that the title card reads Land of the Pines, August 13th. Land of the Pines mainly being, obviously, the mission name, August 13th being the date. Now this is a little weird because usually the title cards for these Call of Duty games usually have more information than that. Obviously they'll have the person's name, character's name, they'll have the day of the mission, like how far into it they actually are, just stuff like that. But obviously, like I said before, these guys are under NDAs, they can't really show much, and this is obviously an early development build, so for all we know, it might not even be there yet. But quite frankly, it's just a little something that you should kind of take note when reading about this stuff. Now, Land of the Pines refers to the state of North Carolina. It is involved in the toast, obviously, of the state of North Carolina. I'm sure if you are from North Carolina, you will know what I'm talking about. I just did a couple of Google searches, and it's pretty easy to find that Land of the Pines refers to North Carolina, which does correlate well with Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, considering the fact that the games mainly take place on the eastern coast. Modern Warfare 2 actually just taking place right up north in Virginia. So North Carolina isn't something too far-fetched because obviously a full-on Russian invasion most likely isn't just in Virginia, it's probably along the entire eastern seaboard. So North Carolina obviously being right next to Virginia would make a lot of sense. He then says that the soldiers are running through a mountainous wooded area. US and UN soldiers, which is a little weird honestly, UN soldiers. We didn't see much of that at all. We didn't actually see any really UN that I could think of in the Modern Warfare series, so it's kind of weird that they just randomly come in. But he said that they were running through a forest under heavy fire, and one of the soldiers shouts, "All defenses have failed, we need to evac the UN VIPs to the Black Mountain facility." The Black Mountain facility is also located in North Carolina, so this correlates more to the fact that this mission at least is taking place in North Carolina, maybe the whole game. He then says that it was only after he realized that the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 title cards looked very familiar to what he just saw. So obviously guys, this is kind of crazy, and this definitely confirms that not only are we seeing something to do with the Modern Warfare series, but it is going to obviously be a modern setting, not futuristic, not Ghost 2, not Infinite Warfare 2, or not some just brand new introduction to the Call of Duty series. But there's obviously some things that need to be taken into note here, considering the fact that this guy says he works at General Dynamics Land Systems. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't actually work there, but it just seems a little odd that he would say he would instantly buy Modern Warfare if they made another game, considering the fact that he says he hasn't played in 5 years. So it would just seem kind of weird that someone who's pretty well established, I mean, he's working at a General Dynamics Land Systems manufacturing company, so pretty good pay at least, and he's definitely high up because he was shown game footage of whatever this game is, if it happens to be Modern Warfare 4 or whatever. And it just seems a little weird that he'd instantly just automatically jump on back on this little like 12-year-old kind of type hype for a Call of Duty game that he not only hasn't played in 5 years, but he just seems like you know, if you're working at this place and you're that high up in the company, I don't know, I just feel like they wouldn't necessarily be the biggest of gamers. Regardless of all the concerns though, the main reason I'm actually talking about this leak, this rumor, is because it was actually removed. If you try going back and viewing it, you will see that the post has been removed and we're not exactly sure why. It was deleted by moderators on the subreddit, but still, it's just obviously very, very weird. Something has caught Activision's attention or somebody's attention high up there, and they do not want this information out. But thank you to FPS Arcer for actually being able to get the screenshot. I was pretty happy because, I mean, I wouldn't have been able to make this video because I wouldn't have had the information, but Arcer got the screenshot, so definitely thank you to him. And guys, that's about it for this video. If you enjoyed, I really hope you do hit that like button and you are subscribed to the channel with the post notifications turned on, obviously. But anyways, guys, I'm literally recording this video on a TV dinner tray or whatever you want to call it because my desk is not here yet. My desk comes on Tuesday, and I will have 2 more videos up before the actual full setup is done. I don't know if I'm going to make a video on it. I think I'm going to save that for a milestone. Regardless, guys, very happy with how things are going. Just keep the support up, and peace.